Hello, Hannah Chelsea, the baby maven here, and I am so excited to welcome you to today's expert interview. We have so much good stuff to discuss, and I know you are going to be very, very excited to meet our guest expert. Taylor Thayne is a divorce coach for women, and she's a mom of three tiny kiddos under the age of 4. She loves working with other moms who are in the same boat as her to help them get out of their rut and find their true purpose. So I'm going to pass it over to her now so she can tell you a bit more about herself and her business.
Well, I'm Taylor Thayne, divorce coach. I know it's kind of confusing to hear a divorce coach on a mom expert, but I also suffered from depression for a while. I had my baby about 6 months ago, my last baby. I have three of them. And I was dealing with a whole bunch of divorce, moving, new job, starting my business, so many things. But depression is it's such a big problem in our culture, and it's something that I suffered from for a really long time. And I just love to help women who are also going through a divorce, but also, who are suffering from this postpartum depression. It's so hard because nobody talks about it. You don't know what to do, and sometimes you just need a little bit of support and help.
Yeah, you offer such a valuable service, Taylor. And could you start off by explaining to us like what postpartum depression is and why it's different just from like baby blues?
Yeah, of course. Baby blues are kind of just your regular mood swings. You're really tired, lose concentration, kind of maybe a little bit of anxiety. But postpartum depression is when you start to take all of those little problems that you're having and you start to internalize them as, I must be what's wrong. I went through this whole phase of like, my kids would be so much better if they had a different mom. Like, it must just be me. I must be the problem. Not so much as, mother is just hard. I took that as, I must just be terrible at it. And so it's more of shame and guilt is what it comes down to. And a lot of times it affects your marriage. Once it starts affecting that aspect of your life, you start to realize like this might be a really serious problem that I need to get addressed because it starts to affect everybody around you. And yeah, so it's just something that you have to really be aware of in yourself so that you can also get that help.
Why is it that, or why do you think that it is that postpartum depression and like, or this anxiety and this overwhelm that new parents feel, especially new moms, why do you think it's that like people don't talk about it or that there's even just like a shame in talking about the topic?
Well, what I think is that in our society as a whole, we start to, and this is a good thing. This is good that we value women so much. That's wonderful. But at the same time, it's getting to a point where we value women so much that we're like up on this huge pedestal, and moms especially, like super mom, you do this, 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 this. There's the movie that came out, like How Does She Do It or something, about how this amazing mom was doing everything. I actually didn't see it, so I don't know for sure. But we just look up to them so much that to say, you know what, this is really hard and I don't know if I'm very good at it, and I'm starting to feel like I'm struggling. There's that whole fear of what if society, like what if everybody around me just thinks that I can't do this, because this is supposed to be a wonderful job. You're a mom, you have little kids, it's wonderful. And it is some of the time. Kids are amazing. They're so much fun. But at the same time, it's really hard, and nobody likes to talk about it. We like to just talk about how wonderful it is. And so it takes a lot of it just takes a lot of courage to just say, you know what, I don't care what anybody else thinks of me. I need help. And that's the leap you have to take. And it can be really hard.
Definitely. I mean, it's not easy to talk about stuff that makes you feel vulnerable or makes you feel like if you're in a place that you I feel like I'm going to say feel a lot, but when you feel like something is wrong with you, that can be such a difficult thing to share with other people, especially because I know that a lot of times the responses, or far too often the responses that you might get when you're like, oh yeah, I feel like I'm a bad mom, is like, oh no, you're not, you're doing a great job, like just push through and you're going to be fine. And it's like, that's probably really not what you need to hear when you have postpartum depression. That's not useful. And so something that I would love to hear from you, Taylor, from your own personal experience is for people, for the viewers here who maybe also have recognized that somebody that they know or love might be struggling with postpartum depression, are there things or that you should do or that you should say to better support them? Like what would you have liked to have heard, or like what would have been useful to you?
That is a really, really good question. I think, and that's like you said, so many people just say, "No, you're fine. You're doing wonderful. Don't worry about it." And I heard that a lot too. And I really just needed somebody to be like, you know what? Tell me, what is it that is wrong? There is something that you're, some kind of battle inside of yourself that you're going through, and that's what needs to be brought out and recognized and dealt with. So you just, I mean, to some extent, you kind of need somebody who's not emotionally attached to you to help you make that breakthrough. But for just friends and family, it's really important to not say like you're fine. Like really just say, well, a lot of times it's just be there for them. Show them that you love them and that they are amazing. Just say, you know what, you rock. How are you doing this? You are doing so much, and you're still able to like put your hair up when you get out of bed. Like it's just small little things. Like how are you able to do this? This is so awesome. Good job. And not in a pandering like you're okay. It's okay. Like just really trying to be there for them. And a lot of times just tell them, if you are a mom, to say, I know how hard it is. If you ever want to talk, just let me know, and don't even worry about anything else. You just let me know. And I had a friend who was amazing for me, and this was awesome when I was really struggling in a time in my life. And she had 3 little kids, and I had 3 little kids, so it was hard for us to ever get together. But she said, if you ever feel like you are at that place where you need somebody like right now or something bad's going to happen, like just text me a code word. And I said, okay, it's going to be code word. That's what I'll text you. And so you just like little things like that. Like if you're both really busy, just say, you know what, like just text me and I will come at a drop of a hat and come help you. I'll come take your kids if you need a break. Like small little things like that will just do amazing, amazing things for people.
That's incredible. And something that I know that you said was, that this was for friends and family, that these are things that they can do. But you mentioned like outside support. Do you have suggestions for how or where people could go for support if they feel like, they might be dealing with postpartum depression, or they're really struggling through new parenthood and they would like additional support? Like, where do you go for that?
A lot of times there are counselors, there are therapists that will help you through that. I know that there are tons of coaches for moms with depression out there. There's a whole bunch on Facebook that you can find if you just like entrepreneurial sites. You just search those. There are so many people there that can help. Um, I'm also considering having another depression motherhood program within my site. So you just want to keep an update on that in the next couple of weeks. I think I might be putting that out. So just keep updated on my site, and I will eventually get one put up there in just the next couple of weeks. So
Awesome. Yeah, because I could see how having kind of that one-on-one support and accountability and things like that could be really beneficial, especially like if you're struggling with something like depression. Or since you also do divorce coaching, like if you're also like trying to figure out whether you're struggling with depression and that's why it's an issue in your marriage, or if there was an issue with your marriage. Like these are major things happening in life. And it's cool that you're there to support people through all of it, and that you took so many of your own personal experiences and kind of are now sharing them with the world and putting yourself out there, because I feel like those are the stories and the coaches that have the best effect on people, is ones that can say, I've literally been there. Like, I know how bad it can be, or I know how good it can be once you get past this or make this decision or start putting yourself first. So one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about was, do you have any tips and tricks or anything like that on how to deal with the overwhelm of being a new parent? Because that's something that's like, it's inevitable when you have a baby that there's going to be a lot going on. Is there anything that you found useful after you had any one of your little ones to deal with kind of that chaos or that overwhelm?
Yeah, definitely. I think that depression often comes from that feeling of being overwhelmed, even if from people who don't have kids. It's once life starts getting on top of them, they start feeling that depression. Um, so a lot of times, or something that I like to do is just kind of just first you have to take a break from everything and just get centered with yourself, whatever that may be, meditation, yoga, watching a movie and eating ice cream, I don't know, whatever it is. And then also make a list of all of your priorities. Start saying, okay, what is the number one important thing right now, just today, and make a list of all those priorities, and then just do the first one. And then that alone will immediately boost your self-esteem, make you feel like you are back in control of your life, and that just creates a momentum that you need to get through that for a little while. And then also one other trick that I have is, this is so small, but I love it because it's so small. If you just make sure your room and your husband's room is your adult escape. With my little kids, toys get everywhere, diapers get everywhere, and I'm just like, I just need a break from the kid world for a minute, and to just have that escape in your own adult private room. That to me really, really helped. It's so small, but such a big change comes from that.
Yeah, and hearing you say that, it made me think about the fact that something that we had also talked about was just the importance of also making sure that like you're taking some time for you, or you're doing little things that are focused just on you, because especially with tiny little people running around you, it can be so easy to just like kind of lose sight of the fact that like you need to be able to take care of you and focus on like you eating and being able to go to the bathroom and not getting dehydrated, and like little, even just simple things like that. So I love your suggestion of just kind of like creating kind of like a sacred space in the house that's like, this is a kid-free zone. Um, because that self-care piece is so often, I think, something that falls out of like kind of like your mind when you have a tiny little baby. And it's like such a key piece for helping you to feel good and feel like you're doing your best. Um, yeah, self care is like so important. Um, Something else that I wanted to discuss was, and I think maybe this is partially with like having a sacred space in your house just for you, but are there any ways that you would suggest that new parents can kind of get back into that like right state of mind to parent effectively and easily? Hopefully that question makes sense.
I can explain it just a little more.
Yeah, well, just I think that so often, and I could just be guessing at this, but like with the overwhelm or with postpartum depression, it could maybe be really easy to get into this space of just feeling like, I'm not good at this, I can't do any of this, like, and not, I don't know, like almost like spiraling. I don't know if that makes sense. So is there anything that is like a useful trick, like even just like go into the other room and give yourself a count of 10 and a couple deep breaths or something like that, or just you know what, it's okay for it to be chaos, and this is, I'm telling myself it's okay right now, or something like that. I don't know if that, hopefully that makes sense, Taylor.
Yeah, I think I know what you mean. One thing that I love, I heard this from on a talk show with somebody. I don't remember who it was, but I loved this. I remembered it my whole time I was a parent. Um, it's don't carpe diem. Don't do it when you're a parent. Don't. Not every single second is memorable scrapbook moments. It's not like that. And a lot of times we're having that downward spiral, sorry, because we feel like this isn't living up to the expectation that we have of it. And so kind of just take a break and say, you know what, this is what it is, and I'm not gonna try and make it anything that it's not. And one little trick that I that I have is I take pictures of my kids while they're asleep, and then when they are just driving me up the wall and they're just driving me insane, just kind of like find a way to escape them for a minute and just sit in a room and just flip through those little pictures of them sleeping. Like, oh, they're so cute. They really are little angels. It's really okay. And that surprisingly helps a lot.
I could see that though. Like it lets you live in a moment that really did exist, but is also it was like a much more peaceful moment that you were like, yeah, you probably felt good and happy and in control and just like loving in that moment. Um,
Exactly.
which yeah, when you have kind of like chaos swirling around you, I could so see how that would make you feel like more grounded and happier, just like, oh yeah, this is, like this too shall pass. This like little like Tasmanian devil scene, like it's fine. Give it a couple
Exactly.
hours and they'll go back to sleep.
Yes, just look forward to that bedtime, nap times, and then just get your self care. That is when I did it. It was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. What type of stuff do you like to do for self-care? Or was there anything when you were struggling with postpartum depression or um, like things that you've been doing since then that have been really helpful, like self-care wise?
Surprisingly, for me, a big thing is to keep myself connected to other people because I myself am divorced, so I don't have any other adults in my house ever. It's just me and my kids. And it's really easy to be like, oh my gosh, I'm losing my mind. I just need an adult. And so for me, and a lot of the times since I am divorced and a lot of my friends and everything aren't, and so I feel out of place a lot of the time, and it's really easy to slip into isolation. Sorry, I'm getting into divorce a little bit more, but
That's okay.
a lot of times with postpartum depression, you start to do the same thing. You start to kind of just recoil and start to break off all your relationships, and you just kind of sink into your own little house and you don't leave. And I've done that as well when I was married. I did the same thing. And so for me now, I try to get out of the house. I mean, twice a week with adults. Sometimes my kids come. I mean, sometimes you have to find a babysitter and just go have a girls' night or something. But um, so for me, that was making sure I was connected and I was feeling love from other places besides my children, and that really kept my head above water a little bit. Um, for other people, it might be something different. It might mean that they need alone time, that they need like to just watch a romantic comedy, and just hang out for a little bit and ask if their husband will take their kids to the zoo or something while they have a bubble bath. I don't know, just small things that really resonate with you to make you feel like you are okay. Whatever makes you feel like, you know what, I'm okay. I love life. This is something I really love. And it can be easy to forget the things that you did love when you're depressed. You start not having any interest in things. And a lot of that, when you start feeling those things, I think it's important to physically start taking care of yourself even more because then that will give you that boost that you need. So if you need the physical care, it could be, go for a walk, get a massage, some stuff like that.
Awesome. And something that I like that you said was, like ask your husband to take the kids to the zoo, set things up. Like those things also gave you the power to be like, you know what, this is something that I want. And it's awesome to take that action, to put it out there because I'm going to say it's probably going to be much more well received than maybe you would have anticipated. If you reach out to your friend and you're like, you know what, I'm just like going stir crazy in the house or I'm feeling like really down right now. I think your friend is probably going to be like, all right, yeah, let's do something. Not like, oh, well, sucks for you. Like pull it together and leave me alone?
Exactly, yeah. And a lot of the times you'll get the same response of them being like, "Oh my gosh, I need it too. Let's go, let's go." It's so
Exactly.
funny.
Like the support is there. Um, if you want it, if you need it, and also so much of I think what goes along with that is if you ask for it because unfortunately so many people, even those that love you a whole lot, they probably don't know exactly what's going on inside your head or exactly the stuff that you're feeling and they can't read your mind. So if you're really struggling with something but you're putting up a really good front or they're looking at it being like, oh yeah, I remember it was stressful, right? When I had kids 27 years ago, like, oh yeah, you're fine. But if you ask and if you tell them how you're feeling, that's, I think, a really incredible step in making progress because people do want to support you.
Exactly, yeah. And it reminds me of when we were discussing about what friends and family can do. And that's why if you're a friend or family member of somebody with depression, you can't make that decision for them. You have to wait for them to ask for help. You can't say like, I know something's wrong, you need to tell me. Like that doesn't ever work. They have to make that choice. They have to make that decision to say that they need help. And a lot of times it's it reminds me of my kids, like because I do it myself. I don't ask for help when I need it, and then my kids will be screaming and screaming about something. They won't tell me what's wrong, and I keep telling them, I cannot help you unless you tell me what is wrong. And then immediately I'm like, oh, why don't I listen to my own advice, you know? So it's really important to remember that nobody can help you. It's gonna be like there is support out there, but you have to reach for it and you have to ask for it.
Yeah. That's so true. I mean, like, it has to come from you taking the first step. And then it'll just like snowball with people being like, oh, I can support you and I can support you and stuff as soon as you just make it known. Um, yeah. So I want, Taylor, I would love it if you could share kind of like what it looks like to be able to work with you. And you can talk about, of course, like your divorce coaching. I know you said that you're hoping to also bring in like a component that deals with depression or postpartum depression.
Yes, yeah. And as of right now, actually, besides the coaching program, I have workbooks that I'm going to be putting out to just buy separately from coaching programs. And one of them is dealing with depression. And I mean, a lot of it has to do with divorce, and the depression is kind of tied with that. But also, a lot of the time, I mean, postpartum depression affects your marriage and it affects every aspect of your life. And so, what my workbook is about going through the inner conflicts that you're feeling within yourself, and then how is that affecting your relationship or your separation or whatever it is you're going through romantically in that aspect of your life, and kind of figuring out what do I need to do, what are the steps I need to take to make this better, whether it's getting a divorce, dealing with a divorce, or making your marriage better, or anything like that. So that's something that I am offering also as well.
Okay, awesome. So with the divorce coaching, because I'm not totally familiar with it, the majority of your clients, are they kind of in a place like pre-divorce where they're just feeling like things are not really great. I'm not totally sure what the best option is right now. And then you work with them during that point, or is it people who are like, I've decided I'm getting a divorce. I want somebody who will be with me through this, um, or both.
Wonderful question. I love it. Yes, my coaching program is about. I mean, divorce in general is kind of a huge process. So, yeah, like you said, you can be either like the pre-stages or any of that, and I help anybody who's in those stages, even if it's somebody who is saying, this just doesn't feel right. I don't think this is working, but I don't know how to make those steps. I mean, I was in my marriage for close to 2 years before I actually left. And that had a lot to do with my depression. I mean, I had the depression a little bit before, but then this kind of escalated it, and then I was having a baby it just was so much. And so it takes a long time if you're uncertain, if you're uncertain or unsure. And so I do help women who are in that place where they just need help making that leap, making that jump, or if they're just divorced and you don't know what or just like going through the legal process, you don't know what it's going to look like, how long it's going to take, how are my kids going to be okay, how are we all going to just get through this. And then also for people who are divorced, but kind of like, where is my life going now? Now I'm divorced, but I still am like hanging on. I want to let go. I want to just move on and go on with my life. So that's kind of the main thing, is how do we separate from this issue, go through the process, and then create an amazing life after that. So that's also, and I do it just for women. I just coach just women on divorce, and I love coaching people who have little kids. I also have workbooks on becoming a single mom and how to really step into your power, how how to really take control of your life and be an amazing mom, even though being a single mom is really, really looked down on. It's an amazing thing I've learned lately. It's a really difficult. And I also am going to be releasing a workbook on being abused because that's part of where I was at too. And that's something that can follow you the rest of your life, and it's something that you need to heal from and process. And a lot of times, the depression can be a result of the abuse that you've suffered, even as a child. I mean, I suffered abuse as a child, as a teen, and in my marriage. And so it's something that can, I mean, as a child, that led to those other problems, but it's something that you definitely need to process. You need that help, or else the depression is just going to be there the rest of your life. And so it's something that there are so many aspects to what happens to someone who's experiencing depression, and divorce is definitely a big one. And all those problems you had in your marriage, that because once you're divorced, you think it's like, okay, these problems are going to be gone, they're going to be done, I'm so excited. And it's not like that. It's a complete transformation of problems into a different set of problems. So it's something that you just kind of need help navigating a little bit. And yeah, that's something that I love to help women with.
That's incredible, Taylor. I mean, the resources that you were just talking about that you have available and that you're making available on your site, the coaching that you do, and then also just that you took all of these experiences in your life that, I mean, I was gonna say we're negative, but that's not fair for me to judge what the experiences in your life were like. But these things that in general, when you hear about them, you're like, oh my gosh, like that's each one individually, like divorce or postpartum depression or abuse are each huge things to get past and overcome. And the fact that you're sharing your story and then helping others to work through this is like, it's absolutely incredible. Like it makes me so like honored to have you on this show that you're sharing these things. Because I mean, just how like postpartum depression isn't talked about, a lot of people don't talk about abuse, or they don't want to talk about divorce because there's like society is kind of like, yeah, nah, we didn't, that's not pretty, so we don't talk about it.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah.
So I give you like so much credit for building your business around this and then helping other people through it, because my goodness, we need people who can help others through this. Like, you're just amazing.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. It's true though. You're an incredible resource, especially, I mean, the fact that you've been through all of these different things and now you're sharing it. I love that. That's a really beautiful thing, Taylor.
Oh, and I just want to share one quick thing. If there's anything that resonates to any of the women that are watching this who think maybe divorce is kind of the option that they have been leaning towards for a while, I am offering my divorce coaching program with 4 extra bonuses, but they're all ending on the 11th. And so I think this is airing on the 10th.
Yes,
So
it is.
yeah, so it's all going to be gone on the 11th. So hurry and check out my website, and it's taylorthayne.com. Simple.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, actually, that was one of the things I wanted to make sure that we covered was I wanted to make sure that you shared the name of your business, and it's Taylor Thayne. It's your name, which makes it so nice and clear and easy. I was going to ask you what you are all about, like in a couple of sentences. What are you just like, yes, this is me?
Wow, that's a lot of pressure.
You can say a lot of things. Somebody said coffee. I was like,
Um,
okay, I get it.
yeah, so I do divorce coaching, obviously, and my website's taylorthayne.com, and I have that one-on-one divorce coaching program that's actually for 6 months long. I mean,
Oh,
it's a
awesome.
long process.
Yeah.
And then what I just love to do is I love helping women who are really struggling, and to know that, just to let them know they're not alone and you can do something about it. It's not the end of the world. You're not going to sit in a little dark cave forever. It's going to be amazing. The other side is beautiful and wonderful, and you're not alone. And I think a lot of times, I mean, I felt like I was alone for a really, really long time. I mean, 24 years, and I'm 24. So, for a really long time. And it's not that way. And I want to help. I just love showing women what it is that's really going on inside of them so that they can fix it. And I'm all about problems being my fault. Like, please let it just be my fault, because when we get so stuck on like on the problem. We don't realize what we're doing sometimes. And if something is my fault, I can fix it, and then that never has to be what I go through ever again. And I mean, a lot of times, I mean, abuse as a child, that there wasn't anything I could have done about that. That just happened. But and abuse in general, it just that when it gets to that point, it's never your fault. But at the same time, I really had to look at why was I in that relationship? There were red flags before I got married 5 years ago, and I ignored them and I still got married. So to know that now, like now I know what that looks like, and now I don't ever have to do that again because I know that I made a mistake. And to show women like this is kind of how you don't ever let this happen to you again. And so that's what I love. I love showing women that because I think it's something that is a huge problem in our society. I mean, women having a hard time standing up for themselves really when it comes to a romantic relationship, and really just struggling with those problems is just huge with us right now.
Yeah, it definitely, I mean, when you first said I'm all about it being my problem, I was like, oh my goodness. But then when you described it, I was like, oh no, that makes sense. Like it gives you back the power of like, okay, this happened. I learned from it, and I can make sure that this is never my reality again. Um, and I'm all about having the power. I'm like, yes, bring it back to me.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is entirely, is that I love it being my fault because that means I had power over it. I decided that. Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely. So Taylor, it's what is the best way for our viewers to reach you? Should it be through your website? Would you prefer that they reach out on Facebook or Twitter or anything like that?
You can email me at taylor@taylorthayne.com. And you can also, I mean, that's a really good way to reach me, but also you can just go to my website and schedule a clarity call. And right now, until the 11th, I'm offering a clarity call plus guided meditation towards creating a more compelling future. And that is something I have used, this particular meditation. I actually went through Tony Robbins' life coaching certification, and I'm not completely certified yet, so I can't. But this is something that I learned through that program, and it's something that I've used a lot to really help myself, to really calm myself and be excited for the future. And I love it. It's something I really love. So I'm offering it until the 11th for any 45-minute coaching session. If you want to schedule a clarity call on my website, you just go to, should be on the home page, just scroll all the way down and you schedule a call to do that.
Awesome. So viewers, definitely take advantage of this. If you want to connect with Taylor, which I know that you do, check out her website or email her, and definitely book one of those clarity calls. Take advantage of getting also that guided meditation with her. Sign up for some one-on-one coaching. Like, she's an incredible resource. So make sure you take advantage of this. And all of those links that you will need are listed in the email that you received with this video. So I made it super easy. You can just click. It'll take you right where you need to go so you can connect with Taylor. If you have any follow-up questions or anything like that, definitely reach out to her. She's absolutely incredible. Taylor, thank you so much for taking the time to share your story today, talk about your business, which is absolutely incredible, and really share your expertise. I feel like you brought so much value to the table, and I've really enjoyed talking with you.
Thank you. I really enjoyed doing this. I was so nervous, but I really enjoyed it. And thanks for having me. Thank
You're
you.
so very welcome. It was my pleasure having you on the show. So viewers, thank you so much for watching. And like I said, make sure you connect with Taylor. Until next time, I'm sending you lots of happy parenting wishes and love.